Don't you dare be sour. Clap for your world famous two-time champs and feel the power. It's a new day. Yes, it is.
Stop feeling bad for these college coaches that get fired. Don't feel bad for them. Don't feel bad for their wives. Don't feel bad for their kids. Coaching, college coaching, is one of the few jobs in America where you can be bad at your job and you can get $50 million to leave. $50 million to leave. So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad for James Franklin. Don't feel bad for Brian Kelly. $50 million because you was bad at your job. Let me tell you something about society. It's backwards. Because rich people can fail. And they get all of the advantages that really should go to poor people. Think about it. If you was bad at Popeyes, making the crispy, the spicy chicken, and they fired you, you probably would need a little something after you got fired. Imagine you got fired from Popeyes because you didn't put the right sauces in. And then it's like, you know something? We know that we had you on a 3-year Popeyes contract, but it's not working out for us after 6 months. But here's $100,000 on your way out. Wouldn't that be more helpful than someone that you've already paid millions of dollars to get more millions? Oh, you did bad at your job. We don't want you no more. Here's $50 million to make you feel better. Oh, you the CEO of a company that went bankrupt and killed all the stock from the people. Here's $50 million. Go ahead. Have a great life. Go ahead, 60-year-old man. Get your 21-year-old IG model and go on the boat to Aruba. Who cares you tank the stock? Who cares if the stock is at 35 cents now and it used to be 105? Here's $50 million. Go away. Go away. Rich people get everything for free. They're not paying for those courtside seats. If you want to sit in the Joe Budden seats right behind them, you got to pay. But they're not paying for those courtside seats. They're not paying for that Chanel bag. They're not paying for those Gucci shorts. They get that for free, even though they have the money. Wouldn't it make more sense to give free stuff to poor people? People that don't have no clothes. Wouldn't it be more ideal to put the guy that's sitting up in the rafters, who's been supporting the New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns for 30 years of sorrow? Wouldn't it be advantageous to put them in the front row, give them a Gucci belt? You tell me. Credit scores. I want you to think about credit scores for a second. If you're rich, you normally have a good credit score, but you don't need it because you got the money. Why? If I have $5 million and I need to go buy a car, what do I need a credit score for? I can just go buy the car, $70,000, $50,000, whatever. Wouldn't it be more advantageous for people to get better interest rates? To have the credit score not really matter. If they were poor, they're the ones that need to go back and forth. Rich guy got 17 cars. Doesn't need anything but a credit score. Don't feel bad for these college coaches. Don't you feel bad for these college coaches? Don't you feel bad for these executives that are getting paid after just messing up an entire company? Just destroying an entire company. Don't you be mad. It's not right. It's really wrong. But that's where we're at right now in society. That's where we're at in society. I'm back. Saying, well, where you been, bro? Been working on some things. You go check out the newly redesigned Black Sports Online. Go check it out. Tell me what you think. Got some new things. Got some new stuff going on. Gonna try to hit you with the lives at least 3 times a week. We gotta talk about Chauncey Billups. Mr. Big Shot. Mr. Big Shot had him doing the perp walk. I still don't understand it. And trust me, I've been covering sports and entertainment for 20 years. I know what these guys do behind closed doors. So I'm not shocked that there's a gambling scandal. I'm not shocked people are getting arrested. I'm a little shocked about Chauncey Billups. Even though I hear the stories now that it's been going on for a while, people have been talking about it. I got a theory, though. I have a theory. They got something on them. They got to have something on them. There's a couple of things. I mean, either, his daughter tied up in a Brooklyn basement, or he got into some gambling debt himself. But that, even in my mind, is a little shaky. Because it's not like he's not getting paid. It's not like he's broke. It's not like he's, Adrian Peterson. He's getting paid. He's getting a good salary from the Blazers. So why wouldn't he just pay him back whatever he owed him? Unless they didn't want the money back. They wanted it back in a different way. And once you're in, you're in. Once you're in with the mob, you're in with the mob. That's the only thing I can think of. Honestly, that's the only thing that I can think of, is that somehow, some way, he got into some trouble. He got behind. He was like, look, I'll write you a check. And they're like, no. We don't want a check. But what you can do is you can go get Paul Pierce, have him come to this poker game. Go get Kevin Garnett. Go get KG. Come to this poker game. Go get these guys with a lot of money. Bring them to Kylie Jenner's house. Why is Kylie Jenner not arrested? I know there's a lot of people in this indictment, and I get it. You want to put the famous people up front. Kylie Jenner's more famous than Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier. They was using her crib. Ain't nobody even talking about that. They were using Gilbert Arenas' crib, and they had him perp walking. Where's Kylie? Now, Chris wasn't going to let that happen. Kris Jenner wasn't going to let that happen. Let me tell you something about the gambling. It's more prevalent than you think, because how you going to control that? Honestly, if I, as a reporter, if I go to a shoot around or I go to a practice, right, and I notice, LeBron is limping a little bit, or Wemby's shoulder looks like it hurt a bit, before the information comes out, and I go tell my buddy, my neighbor across the street, hey man, I know you like to do those parlays. Wemby's shoulder. I went to the practice earlier today. The game's tonight. Wemby's shoulder looking a little shaky, bro. I'm just saying, you might want to do those. How you gonna police that? You can't. But they wanted the money. It's crazy. You can do a whole segment on ESPN and Prime Video, and it's like sponsored by ESPN Bet, sponsored by DraftKings. It's ridiculous. It's simply ridiculous. It makes no sense. Maybe they got some video on Chauncey. Maybe they caught him out with some IG models or something. Maybe it was like a Russian honey trap. I definitely read too much of those spy books, but you never know. They had to have something. I don't think he did this of his own volition. I think it's going to come out at some point when he's making his deal with the feds, because a deal will be made, that he was coerced and they blackmailed him, they threatened him, threaten his life or whatever. Put a bag over his head and put him in the trunk. So something is gonna come out. Rob never lied to you. Trust me. When that plea deal comes, you're gonna hear a lot of different stuff about it. The streets. Yeah, the street. Look, man, it's crazy out here, Chris. It's crazy. It's wild out here. If you have comments or questions, please let me know. If you want to talk about anything while I'm here for a little bit, let me know, because I normally have the answers for you. Like your boy, Stephen A. Smith and LeBron. What's the end game here? That's what I'm curious about. What is the actual end game here with Stephen A. Smith and LeBron? Because clearly he hates the man. I don't know if it was because LeBron kind of stepped to him and maybe he felt emasculated and embarrassed by it. I'm not sure. It could have been that. But he hates LeBron with a passion. And he's not shy about saying it. Now, the head of the FBI or Serena husband can say whatever they want. He's, he kind of backs off of that. But if it got something to do with LeBron, though, the fire starts coming out of his hairline. He's not happy about that. So when I saw him saying, well, Trump is coming. Trump is coming. Like, who's Trump coming for? He's not coming for Angel Reese. Who do you want Trump to come for? Maybe it is a better question. Do you want Trump to come for LeBron? Is that what we're trying to do here? We're trying to, because, LeBron has been outspoken about a lot of things. LeBron is not shy about political matters. Is that what you're trying to say? You trying to rope LeBron into this? Do you want to take the king down, the chosen one? Is that what you're trying to do? It seems like it. It seems like it would not bother him if something came up that knocked LeBron down a peg or two, in my opinion. Seems like, they used to call a friend of mine still out there and doing her thing, Stiletto Jill, used to call it a bird call back in the day. It's a call when the IG models would say they were in town and drop a picture, do a little video, put something on Instagram, to let the athletes know that, they were available. Is that what Stephen A. doing? Is he doing the bird call to Trump to come get LeBron? I don't know. He's on a lot of shows. And there's definitely a disconnect. And I talked about this before. There's a disconnect between what you think on social media and what's actually happening. And in real life, he's huge. He's big. You don't get to do all of this stuff and people pay you all these millions of money if nobody's listening to you. He's huge. So there's definitely a disconnect. You think you want less of Stephen A. Smith? There's people that want more. And when he says things, it gets back to people. So if he was implying Trump is coming, and he was, he winking, that bird call, sound more like a dog. Anyway, that bird call, then I don't know. Maybe he wants Trump to do something. We have to see about that. Breaking news from Shams. Anthony Edwards is out 2 weeks with the hamstring injury. So breaking news for you from Shams. It's kind of sad that Shams don't really have a competitor, like a rival, anymore. He doesn't have a rival, he doesn't have Woj anymore. So it's just Shams. Maybe Chris Haynes in there every once in a while. You need a good rival in these breaking news streets. He's running unopposed right now. It's like Ronald Reagan in the 80s. Just winning 99% of the vote. You got to wait for Shams for it to come out. So, yeah. So he's out. Anthony Edwards is out for two, looks like at least 2 weeks. Hamstrings can be a little funny. It's the beginning of the year. I wouldn't wait too much for it. What's up, Yuri? Say Stephen A doesn't know if he wants to be MAGA or not at this point. He's trying to play both sides of the street, because I think, he's black. I mean, let's be honest. And if you go too far, then you're Jason Whitlock, right? But if you don't go far enough, you don't get certain opportunities that he wants. He wants mainstream opportunities. He wants to be on Fox News. He wants to be on Good Morning America. He wants to be on Newsmax, and he wants to do these political things, and he wants to do more than just sports. So there's a part of him that has to be like half MAGA, but then he's trying to keep that first take, urban audience. That's why he goes to the HBCUs and stuff like that. It's a fine line, Yuri, that he's trying to walk. So definitely a fine line that he's trying to walk. See, my man 17th with the NO. So I'm starting to think they're trying to put the rig aspect of sports out to deliberately to normalize it for a reason. It once again, it's a nuanced conversation. There are things that are going on that are definitely being controlled. Now, does that mean that it's actually altering the game? That just depends on how you want to look at it. But there are certain things that are definitely being controlled and being normalized. But is it like full out like Black Sox type of rigging? Man, that's for you to decide. Yeah, Baller Alert back in the day, I think had an app, if I'm not mistaken. It's different now because of social media. You can always find, what the athletes and everything's at. Everybody's on Instagram, everybody's on TikTok. But back then, I believe Baller Alert had an app, and the app would let the ladies know where the athletes was at, like what clubs and stuff, or if they were in town or whatever. So you can go on this app, and it would say, "Oh, LeBron and D Wade, in Atlanta at the Magic City or whatever," and it would give them an alert. Like, this is a while ago. Some of you guys are probably too young for this, but it would give them an alert on their phone. Say LeBron and such are here. Go to this club. Or Allen Iverson is here or whatever. And the girls would go and go, track them down and see what they can do. That was a while ago. That was an interesting. They don't really have to do that. Are you still $1 there? Of course. Look, there's different type of individuals in this world, right? There are wealthy people. Now, there's not a lot of wealthy people. There's not a lot of Bezos and Elon Musk, right? Then there's a lot of really, really rich, people. Really, really rich. They don't have to worry about anything. There's a ton of poor people, unfortunately, in our country. Ton of poor people, and I just explained why with the poor people they don't really care about the poor people that are going on in our country. Then there's this middle class of people that we're not broke. You can you can upsize your meal at McDonald's. You can every once in a while get a steak. You got a couple of TVs in your house. Your car's not falling apart. But the problem is in Trump America, that's not enough. I'm out here in LA, and sometimes I look on Zillow at the houses, and these houses aren't great looking, and they're going for like $1 million, $1.5 million, and they're not good looking houses. And if you want $1 million house, you need $200,000 in cash on hand, for your down payment. Now, the problem with that is that Black people, we don't have any generational wealth. So I think I told this story before. I live in this new development, right? And one of my neighbors, they're both doctors, right? So they're not hurting, for cash. They're both doctors, like surgeons, like real doctors, not just the urgent care doctors. And we were talking one day, just chilling in the backyard, and they was talking about how their parents gifted them their down payment for the house. Gifted them hundreds of thousands of dollars. Black people don't have that. So that's why it's hard for us to think. And when you rent and when you're always behind and when you check the check, it's very difficult. So you got to actually try to live your life, try to have fun, try to do things, try to have things, but you still have to be a dollionaire because things change. Like the business, the media business has changed, to where you have to find different ways to make money. Can't just sit back and just write a couple of stories and cool headlines and make a lot. So yeah, it's dollionaire, for life around here. What else did I have? Deion Sanders. I think, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I think we underestimated how good Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter really were. Because they turned that team that before Deion got there was 1-10. And I know they went 4-8 the next year, but they were like 9-3, 9-4. I mean, that was a quick turnaround. And so I think that we don't give enough credit to Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter for what they did at Colorado. Now, granted, they do have their numbers retired, thanks to Deion. But I watched Colorado play Utah, if you want to call it a game. That was not a game. That was a beating. I mean, that was like a real like Rodney King style beating. And it didn't look good. And they did not look talented. Let's put it like that. And it wasn't like they were playing Ohio State or Oregon or Alabama. I mean, no shade to Utah. But I mean, they got their ass kicked. And I don't think Deion is gonna leave because he's making $5 million a year. And there's not too many ways you can make $5 million a year for 10 games a year. But I think, and this is just a suggestion, maybe scale back a little bit on some of the former players as coaches and maybe get some real college football guy coaches in to help them out, because that did not look like an organized team. And it's strange because one week they'll look good or decent, and then the next week, not so much. So, it's still early in his tenure. I think he needs to go out and actually do some recruiting. I don't think you could just do the transfer portal. Like, I know it works for certain people, like the Indiana and Signetti, but I think it would behoove Deion to try to start getting some homegrown talent that he can develop that's going to stay with him for 2 or 3 years. One of the things that Ryan Day does, I think, well at Ohio State is most of the players are recruits, actual still recruits, and then he just picks and chooses which transfers to bring in. So they're impact transfers as opposed to having 50 new guys on the team every single year. That's just my advice. Now, granted, I never high stepped in the end zone or ran a punt back 80 yards and caught a touchdown and did a pick six. But, I'm here, so you're listening. How you doing, my man, Randy? Happy Monday. It's Monday's always a little bit of something. Adrian Peterson is back in the news. Adrian Peterson blown $100 million. I can never feel bad for Adrian Peterson when he gets knocked out in the ring, gets knocked out at poker fights, he gets arrested, he loses money, because I seen no pictures of what he did to his little boy. And I'm not against like spanking, right? Like, I'm not against spanking. I have daughters, so I would never do that to my daughters. I'm not against spanking. And I think especially if you have boys, you sometimes you want them to be men. You don't want them all soft and stuff. Nobody wants a soft little boy. But if you've seen the pictures of what he did to the 4-year-old, that was over the top. That was unnecessary. That's somebody that had some mental and anger issues, and he took it out on a 4-year-old, right? I mean, a 4-year-old can't fight back. And he just took it too far. So, great football player. But as I've told you many times, you don't know these guys behind closed doors. You don't know what type of individuals, they are. So, yeah. So he has some serious financial problems. He's arrested for DUI. So obviously some drinking, issues. There was some domestic violence accusations. It's just been a lot for him. But that's what happens when you're so talented that you don't, and nobody's there to kind of center you. You know what I mean? Nobody's there to center you, to keep you, kind of on the straight and narrow, to tell you that you've gone too far. And then you have all of these kids, all of these different women's, all of these different baby mamas and stuff. And it's just too much. And then when it's over, right? And you're no longer in the spotlight and you're no longer making them checks, all those people disappear. All of those people disappear. And so that is it's sad, but I don't, like I said, I don't feel bad for him at all. Great feeling for Justin Fields to get that W for the Jets after his owner basically said he was trash. I said something where I said even Jerry Jones haven't did that before. And don't get me wrong, Jerry Jones has thrown players under the bus, but I've never heard him talk bad about Dak. I never heard him talk bad about Tony Romo. Hell, I never heard him talk bad about Quincy Carter. Some of you may remember Quincy Carter. You normally your owner coming out and saying your quarterback is awful. That's a different type of thing to take in. And I know he said some people were saying he was being a little too vulnerable about crying in the closet and all of that stuff. But we're all human. Nobody likes to hear certain things about, nobody, especially someone that you think has your back. Man, the only reason we're losing is because our quarterback's bad. So it's good for him to get out there, get a victory, get a win, feel good about himself, because it's tough. It's tough being a quarterback in the National Football League. That's BSO Live. I'm the headline king, Robert Littal. I will be coming to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, talking about the best sports stories of the day and sharing some of my 20 years of experience in this crazy world of sports and sports entertainment. If you can do me a favor, please, you can go ahead and subscribe on the YouTube, follow on the social media spaces, and definitely go check out the new blacksportsonline.com. Put a lot of work in it. We basically rebuilt it from scratch. Remember, we started this 15 years ago. So we rebuilt everything from scratch to make it a little bit better experience for you, the reader. All of these videos will be up on Black Sports Online as well. And all of the little snippets you'll see on your TikToks and your Instagrams and your YouTubes and your Twitter. I'm out. See you on